Do you wish you could quit teaching and start working from home so you could spend more time with your babies? Are you tired of scouring the internet for legit jobs that will replace your teaching income and that you can do from home in your PJs? Hey mama, welcome to Ditch the Classroom. I know you're over there Googling jobs for teachers, legit work at home jobs, or start a side hustle, yet you can't figure out how to take that first step toward quitting teaching. So instead, you stay stuck, do nothing, or start random side hustles to make quick money. Virtual assistance is the answered prayer you've been waiting for. My name's Ariana, and I'm a former teacher turned work-at-home mom who replaced my teaching income as a virtual assistant in just 6 months. I did this by taking a step of faith and following the dream that God placed on my heart to be home with my babies. Sister, your dreams pale in comparison to God's dreams for you. Imagine offering services that light you up and having a job that works around your life and not the other way around. This is the podcast for you. It's time to take that first step out of teaching. Are you ready? Here we go. Y'all, I seriously cannot believe that this week marks 3 years since I officially became a virtual assistant. It's crazy to think about where I've come from and where I am now. And on today's episode, I'm going to be sharing the reasons why I decided to quit teaching and become a work-at-home mom. So you're going to get an inside look at my journey to becoming a virtual assistant, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But before we jump into this episode, I wanted to take a moment to share this podcast review with you. I've been teaching for a decade, and the past few years have me questioning if I want to stay or not. Not knowing quite where to navigate, Ariana always brings in top-notch guests to share their stories and give ideas of what ex-teachers can do. She is sweet and kind, and I feel like we are chatting over a cup of coffee when I listen to the podcast. Thank you, Ariana, for sharing your story, tips, and tricks, and always supporting us along the way. You guys, this review and all of the others that are left on the show, they seriously make my heart so incredibly happy. It just shows me that y'all are really appreciating all of the time that I put into creating this content for you. And like I said, it just lights me up. And if you didn't know, as a thank you for leaving a review on the show, I'm offering you free access to my Ditch the Classroom toolkit. So all you have to do to get that is go to Apple Podcasts, search the Ditch the Classroom podcast, click on it, scroll down, and then leave a 5-star review and write a few short sentences about how this podcast has helped you. Then before you hit submit, this is important, before you hit submit, take a screenshot, because if you submit it first, it sometimes takes a few days to show up. So take a screenshot before you hit submit and then send it to podcast@ditchtheclassroom.com. Once you do that, I'll send you a coupon code and you'll get the Ditch the Classroom Toolkit 100% for free. So that's just kind of my thank you to y'all for helping me spread the message of this show. All right, let's go ahead and jump into my story. So I think the reason that I originally went into teaching is probably pretty similar to a lot of y'all's stories. I always loved kids growing up. I babysat. My first job was at a daycare. I worked in an after-school program and summer camp. And so it just seemed like the logical next step was for me to go into teaching because that's what I knew. But the truth is that I didn't even really fully explore other options. Kids were what I was good at, but I didn't take the time to think about whether I was going to enjoy everything else that comes with being a teacher and how that choice would affect my life. Then, once I got into the classroom, I very quickly realized that teaching was a lot more than just helping students learn. I would come home stressed every day from all the additional expectations placed on teachers' shoulders, as well as not receiving the full support that I needed to properly help my students. I pretty quickly realized that I did not want to teach for the rest of my career, but I wasn't sure what else I could do, especially since I had just invested so much freaking money into my teaching degree and I had these huge student loans looming over me. So I couldn't bring these feelings to my husband or my parents because I literally just finished this degree. And I'm like, seriously, what am I supposed to do now? Go back to college? No, I didn't want more student loans. So I was like, do I have to stay stuck here? What am I going to do? So I just mostly kept these feelings bottled up inside. And not only did I not want to tell them because that meant spending more money, but it felt like I was admitting failure, that I just, wasn't cut out for this. And like I said, I love teaching, but it was everything else, as I'm sure y'all know, that I was like, this is not sustainable. Then, when I got pregnant with my daughter, I ended up opening up and telling my husband that I didn't think I could be the present mom that I wanted to be while still teaching. So we had a discussion and we agreed that I would take the first year of my daughter's life off of teaching. And the plan was during that time that I was going to either nanny or deliver groceries, something where I could take her with me that would make up at least a small portion of my income. And it's funny looking back, those were my plans. The plan was to go back to teaching a year after she was born. But God listens to the dreams on our hearts, and He has different plans for us than what we sometimes think. For me, the day that I went into labor, I came across this world of virtual assistants. And I'm like, what is this? I didn't know this was a thing. And so once I kind of explored and saw, okay, this isn't direct sales, because I had tried that didn't work for me. This is something that I could maybe actually do. So like I said, this was the day I went into labor. From then on, I spent every spare moment that I could while I was nursing or just up late at night, unable to fall back asleep after I fed her. I spent all that time learning everything that I could about becoming a virtual assistant. Then within 1 month, I had landed my first client. And within 3 months, I had replaced half of my teaching income. And then within 6 months, I'd replaced my teaching income completely. And this was all with my newborn daughter by my side, working only about 20 hours a week. You guys, virtual assistants seriously was an answered prayer. And I'm not a unicorn. You can do this too. You listen to this podcast and you gobble up every episode because you have dreams for yourself. But are you sitting on those dreams? Or are you actively pursuing them? If you're just sitting on your dreams, why aren't you pursuing them? Are you afraid that this new dream that you have for yourself is going to cause ripples and you don't like to make waves? Y'all, I had a big vision for what I knew my life could be, and I knew I would regret it if I didn't at least try. I had no proof that I was going to be successful at this, but I knew that my drive to be at home with my kids and to still be able to pay off our debt and take those dream family vacations, I knew I could still have all of that if I gave this my all. I really, truly believed that I could figure this out. I knew I had the capabilities to learn, and even if I didn't have the experience yet, I could figure it out as I went. I didn't need everything to perfectly align from the start. God doesn't show us the end destination from the beginning, because if we saw where we're going to end up, we'd probably be like, are you crazy? And we would never try. So it's just about taking one step at a time and having faith in His plan for you. Now, if you're afraid and you're like me, you just don't know how to express this to your spouse or your family, you feel like you have no one to talk to about this dream that's been placed on your heart, come into our free Facebook community, facebook.com/groups/Stitch the Classroom. This is your safe place to really share how you're feeling and allow us to encourage you and push you to take that first step. I also want you to know that you can ease your feet in, get them a little wet. You don't have to do a cannonball into the deep end with this virtual assistance world. You can start learning it one step at a time. But also, I want to make sure you're not just sitting around waiting for everything to be perfect before you pursue your dreams. I'm all about done, not perfect. You can go back and tweak things later. Just get it out there, take those steps, take those big leaps of faith, and make your great dream come true. You need to commit to it, give it the air and the light that it needs to grow. And when you stumble upon a solution, take it. Even if you're stepping into it with wobbly Bambi legs, at least you're freaking taking the step. Okay. And if you need that encouragement, that accountability, that ongoing support, the tools to make this possible and just make this vision come to life for you, then the Teacher Turned Freelancer Academy is for you. This is where you're going to get everything you need to take your virtual assistant business from 0 to 60 so you can replace your teaching income and start working from home so much faster. And actually, you're going to end up saving money too, because you're not going to make all the mistakes that I made starting out. So go to teacherturnedfreelancer.com, see everything that's included in the program, get registered. I can't wait to see y'all in there. And just to kind of wrap up this episode, I want you to ask yourself, what steps do I need to take to make my dream come true? What conversations do I need to have? And what do you maybe need to let go of so that you can get to the place where you're able to quit teaching and pursue the dreams that have been placed on your heart? I want you to answer those questions for yourself. And if you're ready, I'm right here waiting for you. All right, y'all. We will see you next episode.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I'd love to bless you with a free gift as a thank you. All you have to do is leave a review of the show on Apple Podcasts, take a screenshot and send it to podcast@ditchtheclassroom.com. I'll send you a code so you can snag my Ditch the Classroom toolkit for free. And don't forget to come hang out with us in our free community, facebook.com/groups/Ditch the Classroom. I'm so honored to support you in your journey to becoming a virtual assistant. Until next week, y'all, keep following the dreams that were placed on your heart so you too can ditch the classroom.